Hello, my friend. This is Clyde. It can happen to you too. Daniel 6 verse 22 says, My God sent his angel and he shut the lion's mouth. They have not hurt me because I was found innocent in his sight, nor have I ever done any wrong before you, your majesty. I take it that you know the story from the Bible about Daniel and the lion's den. But I want us to look at it again, and I want us to examine some details that may just make you believe in miracles. Daniel was living and working in a foreign country. Daniel was a resident, not a citizen of that country. You see, many years before this story, his original country, Judah, was raided by a Babylonian emperor who captured some bright young people and took them back to his country to work for him. Daniel was one of them. And in that new country, Daniel excelled at what he did, and he soon rose to the top level of government. This outstanding young man was promoted time and time again under not one, but two kings. One day, this empire was toppled over and taken over by a third king from a powerful regime. This guy's name was Darius the Mede. This new emperor rearranged the top administrators of his empire with some new appointments, and Daniel was one of the three top administrators. Well, our boy Daniel did so well that there was news out of the palace that the king was planning to appoint him the head of the whole government team next to the king. Naturally, this angered the other guys, and they tried to create a story against Daniel's integrity, but nothing worked until they said, let us get him on the religion thing. The plan worked. They got the king to inadvertently sign into law that anyone during a 30-day period caught praying to any god apart from the king should be thrown into the lion's den. Seriously? Have you ever wondered why there was a lion's den? Was it for punishment for crimes against the government? Well, Daniel was caught praying because the brother was consistent in his relationship with God, and the king was told about it. Imagine the leader of your country getting news that his most trusted staff member had violated this newest law. By now, the king was less concerned about the law. He was trying to save Daniel from being sent to the lion's den. But the rule of law in the empire is that everyone, including the king, must obey the law. Now, this is where it gets ridiculous. They threw Daniel into the lion's den and listened to the king. Daniel, may your God who you serve continually rescue you. This king is joking. He does not know Daniel's God, but this was his last words to Daniel? Meanwhile, what about the lions? Are they waiting until the king returns to the palace to begin ripping Daniel apart? Well, this king, only for the love of his favorite member of the cabinet, spent the whole night in torment, wishing and hoping that the lions would not eat his friend Daniel. Early the next morning, King Darius rushed down to the lion's den and called out, Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God whom you serve continually been able to rescue you from the lions? This king is fit to be tied. King, this is not a cage of house cats or stuffed animals. These are animals, wild animals, and their favorite time of day to hunt is at nights. Your friend was thrown in the lion's den and spent the whole night, and the next morning you come to check if Daniel's God has delivered him? Shake my head. Suspense fills the air as he waits for an answer. In the stillness of the morning hours, there comes a voice from inside the lion's den. My God sent his angel, and he shut the mouth of the lions. They have not heard me. Hey, they took Daniel out on the king's command, and there was not even a scratch. Later that day, the king ordered that the 120 satraps and the other two administrators, along with their wives and children, be thrown into the lion's den. Catch this. The Bible says that before they reached the floor of the den, the lions overpowered them and crushed all their bones. Go figure. Where have we heard of an angel doing the miraculous? In 2 Kings 19, we read where an enemy army threatened God's people, Judah, to take over their country. That night, the angel of the Lord went out and put to death 185,000 men of the enemy's army. So what? 2 stories of an angel doing something great, but what does that have to do with me? Well, listen to the answer. Psalm 91 is a God response to your question. Verse 11 says, "For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. They will lift you up in their hands so that you will not strike your foot against a stone." My friend, if you're a child of God, this is definitely 100% for you. God appoints angels to protect his people. So many details about the Daniel story makes no sense, especially why the lions did not touch Daniel all night. And yet the next day they killed so many people before they even fell to the ground. Ridiculous. But is it? Is it ridiculous to imagine that the God you serve will not do the miraculous in order to save you from trouble? God protects you even when it seems impossible. I wish for you to believe with all your heart that which happened to Daniel can happen to you. Daniel was facing certain death and God shut the mouth of the lions. Those lions could do nothing because one angel did what God told them to do. Trust God to be able and willing to protect you